Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hangout. Welcome to the Hangout. Come on in. Come on in. Whether you're watching the live or the replay, at this moment, we're going to take a few minutes to go ahead and share the video, tag for people to tune in with these amazing ladies that I have on today. We have Shamika and Jessica joining us here on the Hangout. So, you guys, I hope you're super excited.
Okay, it then got quiet, so I'm gonna just take the reins and go next. Thank you, Tamira, for having me a part of your amazing platform and just hanging out with you today. I think today's topic is one that is amazing. So, yes, ladies, come on in, tag your friends. I am Shamika Menacey. I am a multi entrepreneur who runs, owns, and operates the Menacey Group, and the Menacey Group has construction, logistics, and agriculture. And on top of that, I also am a career and business strategist. So if you need help with developing your career or your business, I am your girl.
Thank you. And welcome to all of you who are joining us today. We have an amazing topic. Welcome to my co host, Tamara and Shamika. Thank you guys for having me on once again. I am Jessica Raquel. I'm a makeup artist of 6 years located in Memphis, Tennessee. In addition to, I am also an entrepreneur that runs a media relations agency for entrepreneurs that need help with organization, post structure, and so on and so forth, etc. At this time, I'm currently hosting a co-working space that is open to all entrepreneurs, and that co-working space actually happens on Monday evenings at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We are in this space for 1 hour because I don't want to take people away from their families too much. But if you would like to join us, please just let me know in the DM or head over to my page. There's always a rolling post going about the co-working space so that you can jump on the Zoom and get those goals accomplished.
Awesome. And you all, I am Samira Bell with Bell Society Production, where I help you bring your vision to reality through brand strategy and business development. You all, I hope you're excited because I'm excited about this topic on today. You all, this is a topic that many of us can relate to. This is a topic that many of us may have at some point or may be struggling with, right, in our lives currently. So I'm super excited. Today we will be talking about the value of time. The value of time. And this is something that even if you're not an entrepreneur, you can relate to it. And so I'm excited to be talking about the value of time with Jessica and Shamika. And I know we're about to drop some amazing gems on today. You all make sure that you put in your phones, in your reminders that we join. We come to you all every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, ready to hang out, ready to drop some gems. All right, so let's talk about the value of time. Let's talk about that for a moment. I don't know about you ladies, but I'm not going to say that that has always been something that I was good at. Okay. So, based off my experience, this is something that even today I constantly have to remind myself, and I have to constantly position myself to be responsible with valuing my time. And then another thing is as well, I'm gonna be real. I don't know about you all, but at one point I thought money was more valuable than time.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought money, I
Yeah.
thought, I thought, okay, my time is money, not realizing that my time is more valuable than money, right? And when I learned that my time was actually more valuable than money, I realized that I had to stop working so much and working so hard and become strategic with my time. And when I became strategic with my time, I actually make more money working less than I did when I worked a lot of hours. So I don't know about you all on that, but I just had to drop that right quick.
Listen, what you're saying, it makes complete sense. I think for me, from the standpoint of time, I always think back to when I got out of high school. Okay, because I believe that that's the space, like when you're going through school, school is there to train you and teach you how to be a functional adult, right? Not only is it there to educate you, but it's to give you those rules. It's to help you learn how to follow rules, help you learn how to manage your schedule. It's there to help you do those things. And as a kid, we buck against the system, right? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to class. I'm gonna skip it, or I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna play the whole time. Keyword time. I'm gonna play the entire time because I don't actually want to read this book or do this study. And so when you come out of school, now no one is there, and this is not to say that the parent is not available, but truly you're a young adult. And so everyone's
Mhm.
going to push you to stand in your authority as a young adult and start to define your life and what your time should look like, how you're spending your time and maximizing your opportunities, because time and maximization of opportunities kind of go together. So if you don't maximize or value time, you won't maximize or value your opportunities properly. And so coming out of school, I lacked that discipline. I felt that I had all of the time in the world into the same notion. And I always say this was the sprinkle of insanity. I felt like I had no time at all. I felt like I had all of the time in the world to enjoy all of the things that were not productive, but I had very little time to do the things that would make me masterful and disciplined. And so, what do you do at this stage in life? You make a decision. I'm going to enjoy having a ball. I'm going to enjoy having a blast because there's no hands on my shoulders. There's no one to tell me what to do right now. Correlating that and bringing it up to speed, with being in my 30s now, I see where that greatly affected my habitual practices that should lead to success.
Come on.
And so as an entrepreneur, as a woman who believes in doing business, doing ministry, and valuing other people with the heart of the servant leader, I find that even though we didn't do these things in school, we still now have to look at time and say, now I have to take time to teach myself these things. So when I think of valuing time, not only do I think of time as for what it is, the temporal position that we reside in as people, I think it's really important that we look at time for what it also represents, is our opportunities to maximize our opportunities to envelop, or our opportunity to go forward, grow forward is a better way of saying it, into the individuals that we need to become to actually house the things that we're saying we want.
Mhm.
There's a book that I'm starting today, and it's called The 12-Week Year. And I haven't read it yet, but just by that title, and it's so interesting that we're talking about time today, because just by that title, it says the 12-week year. And we know that there's 52 weeks in a year, but this book is going to break down how much time we actually absorb doing things that don't actually grow us forward or maximize our opportunities.
That is good. I will say, um, I think the geek in me has always been someone who can function on a time crunch. And I say that because God brought it back to my memory that I always kept a schedule from
Right.
high school through college to present. But then life happens and life be life, and I stopped keeping that schedule. And what I found is sometimes whether you geek it out like I did, and not that I'm perfect, or you felt like Jess and you felt like I'll deal with the time later, I'm gonna have a blast. I think that a 15-minute calendar system will change your life, and it will likely be synonymous with that book that you're going to read, or with the statement that Tamira said of, I work less and I make more money. I think that in today's society, whether you have a business or you work a job, as far as time comes, you know that you've got this concentrated amount of time that you are going to take ladies and or clients, if you will, and beautify them. Tamira knows that if she's working at, in her husband's sphere of the business, that this time may be 24 hours because people die every second of the day, right? Well, for me, after college, I'm somebody's mama. So I had to keep in touch with time because I knew that she needs to get to and from school. And then she may have had extracurricular activities plus my board activities. I needed to have the time. But then I got to a place in my life older, the flip side of you, Jessica, that I'm like, you know what? It's gonna get done. I'll figure it out. And I lost that grasp. So I think anybody should geek time out, whether it's using 20 minutes a day to work, or a 12-week work week or 40 hours? What are you doing with that other amount of time? We drift off too much, taking these phones, and we're all over social media. We're on our laptops on social media. We are watching and binge watching every movie of people who have already gotten to their bag. And maybe the listener isn't like the three of us and has no interest in getting to several bags, and maybe he or she only works a job, which is fine because they're still getting to your bag, right? But from a timing perspective, if you just use that 15-minute calendar, here's some tea. You ain't got
Mm-hmm.
to work that job the whole 8 hours, because you're putting in increments what your tasks are and the things that you need to do. And so maybe you can spend more time in the gym or spend more time training someone else. But we know that time can rob us. Like, if you look at it from a motherhood perspective, my daughter was just 2. How is she in her second semester of college? You know what I
Wow.
mean? And so it's just putting things, like you said, it's a 52 week, I mean, a 52-week year. But I'm going to read this book, and I'm assuming, based on the title, that I can figure out how to do what I need to do and shave off 40 weeks, which means that I can volunteer at my son's school more, which means that I can travel more. I can pour into myself, because I'm talking ministry, and I know that I've got to be filled before I can go out and lead or speak to and over a group of people. So I've got to have that time managed so that I can do these things. Because imagine reading that 12-week year book, and you know what to do in 12 weeks, and then you take the other 40 weeks and you are drifting and you don't have any definite purpose. Then what? That's all I got at this point.
Oh man, man, this is a lot because I truly believe that preparation is everything. I think even with the value of time, we're prepped for some things because even last week I had a meeting with an organization for my son, and it shifted everything. And so when
Mhm,
things shift for you, you're really trying to evaluate. Okay, how can I still do this? How can I do this? I always say disruption follows intention, right? Anytime you're intending to
mhm,
do something, disruption gonna find that it's gonna find you. But disruption doesn't have the power to destroy intention, only you do. And
mhm,
so after the meeting, we came to the realization my son actually goes to a daycare like 27 minutes away from my office, but it's like 35 minutes away from my house. And so they decided to put him in a program in an elementary school. Putting him in that program, well, that is only 3 minutes away from my house, right? So their mindset is, well, we know that he goes to daycare in another city. Are you going to X that out? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to adjust and reschedule some things and turn some things around. I said, because I got to get my son everything that he needs because I'm a person
mhm,
of faith and I just believe that he's going to be there. And so, um, today was the first day, of course, having to take them this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning to the daycare because my other son, that's two, well, one, Lord, that's one. He's gonna stay there all day. So, and then
mhm,
at 11:30, I headed that way. By 12, I was picking him up to take him
mhm,
to the elementary school by 12:30, right? And
Mm,
one of the things that I had to do because you can get on phone calls as entrepreneurs, you can get busy, right? When I dropped him off at 12:30 and headed back to my office, I had to put the timer on for us to make sure that I didn't get consumed, right? Consumed where
mhm,
I missed the time. And so one of the things I say when you value time is to also make sure you have those reminders. You're using those technology devices because the truth is you can get consumed and you can lose track of time. And so I think it's very important that we allow those alarms and those reminders to become a part of our daily practices so that we can get the results that we're trying to get. Because even though things happen, right? Even though
mhm,
things occur, you just got to make certain changes. Like usually, where I would take certain personal calls while I'm working, I said, okay, I'm going to have to let go of that so that when I'm working, I'm 100% working. And a lot of people can multitask and all of that, and that's good. But I was like, I can't incorporate you on speakerphone while I'm working anymore.
that's
I'm gonna have to cut that off so that I can do more productively in my workspace for the limited time that I'm actually here because I'm getting ready to leave again, right? And so we have to understand that as we value time and that disruption comes, we're valuing time because of things that we want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
We want out of life and we want it at a, okay, like just said she's in her 30s. There's some things that you want to accomplish in your 30s before you hit 40. So you're going to have
Absolutely.
to value your time. Now,
Mhm.
of course, we're getting the bag, we're going after money, we're doing all of that. But why are we doing that? What is our big why? The truth of the matter is, it is time. It is time so that we
Yes.
can do more things earlier in our youth, right? Come on, we don't want to. I'm just gonna be real. I know some people work for retirement. That's good.
Oh
But
yeah.
when you retire, you can't do some of the stuff you wanted to do when you were in your 20s and 30s because your limbs just ain't gonna let you do it. So if you
Absolutely.
value your time, now you're like, okay, I gotta make this amount of money. I gotta break this record. How am I gonna do this in the time frame that I need to do it? I don't want to work 24/7. 24/7. Me, I'm gonna help some of y'all. Just because you work 24/7, just because you work 18 hours a day, that does not mean you're productively working. It doesn't mean that. You can be working 18 hours a day and still have it done what somebody that worked 8 hours can do. So you
Hmm.
want to make sure that you spend more of your time productively working and you'll find out that you don't have to work 18 hours.
That's it.
Oh, that's good.
That's it.
Wow, that was really good. Um, I think that if I could ask our listeners anything, and they can put this in the comments, what do you actually equate your time to? What do you actually equate it to? Because most things that we do, we equivalent two things together to surmise the reason why we're doing something. And like you said, our dominant why is because we want something out of life and we want more time. So
Mhm.
we take time and we equate it. We put it in the middle of those two things, and that becomes our why. So what do you actually equate time to? Because I know for me, when I realized that I didn't have to wait for retirement, when I
Mm.
saw women in their 20s retiring, like at this point, whatever they're doing it because they want to give back, they want to pour in, and they want to have more resources. Not that they have to do it. They can
Mhm.
now do the things that they desire to do and the things that God called them to do. They're retired. Um, I never want an individual to feel like you have to set this goal, because I think for me personally, I think that too many of us are, and goals are a good thing. Goals are a good thing. But I think that too many of us are equating our goals to money.
That's
We
good.
equate our goals to finance. So if I haven't made six figures, I can't sit down and rest. If I haven't made seven figures, I don't have time to rest. Have you heard people say, um, sleep, there's no rest for the weary? I can't sleep through, millionaires are not sleeping until 8 a.m.
Hmm.
You've heard people say things like this. But my question is always, what truth is it in that? God would not have windowed a period of time for your body to rest if it didn't need it, because your mind needs it as well in order for you to truly attain and achieve the goal.
Mhm.
I don't know what millionaire doesn't sleep until 8 a.m. I don't know what millionaire feels the excessive need to keep working themselves to the bone when they actually have time and resources now. We
Right.
say things, I believe, because it sounds good and it's supposed to be a push to us to make sure, and I truly believe it's supposed to be a push to us to make sure that we're maximizing time and doing the work. Those two things go together. We're
Mhm.
utilizing the time and we're doing the work. But what I find is that we're actually absorbing time at a multiplicative rate, because what ends up happening is burnout and fatigue happens, and then you're down for longer than you worked.
That's good.
You're off the grid for longer than you worked. People say there's no such thing as balance. I don't think there is a structure to balance that fits every person one dimensionally. So the way I balance things is not the way you can balance things, Tamara, which is not the way you can balance things, Shamika. But there has to be a level of balance. I just took on a 6-week challenge that requires me to not necessarily compartmentalize my day. I don't believe in time management so much so as I do task management. Let me say that. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of taking it, I've got to do this at 1 o'clock. If it's a deadline, yes, I have to do it by 1 o'clock. But if it's not a deadline, do I have a window of in between 1 and 3 by which to get this task done? Is the way I do things. But this challenge that I've taken on, it requires me to actually manage how much of my time I'm pouring into things that won't esteem me. So one of you mentioned earlier, Shamik, I think it was you. You said we have our phones in our hands so much. I started setting the timer to turn my apps off on iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it lets you do that. It'll let you go in the back of it. You can actually set a timer for your apps to shut down. Your screen will gray out. I started holding myself accountable to put the phone down. Put it
Mm-hmm.
down. I have a friend that I love to talk to her and work. And then just short ago, I realized I don't get as much work done as she does. So I cut my talk time during the day
Mm-hmm.
because I have office hours established for myself. So that realm of time, those hours that I have while my son is at school, I have to get the work done because I'm intentional about being present when he's home from school. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
take too many of my evening hours to do too many extra things. My my the co-working space is only one of those things that I'm willing to give an hour in my evening. I won't work beyond a certain time in my day. I'm saying all of this to say that what we equate time to is what we pour ourselves into. So
Mm-hmm.
many people are teaching us, go listen to their story, go find out how they did it. Watch this podcast, listen at that one, go and find this person, follow this one and follow that one. I believe that each of us has a set type of individual that we will connect to in the online space, but you would drown yourself out trying to follow all of these people and learn their story when you're not focused on your own because
Mm-hmm.
your journey is yet going. Your journey is
Mm.
still moving. Your clock is still ticking. You still have to be at the place of the blessing at an appointed time. What did he say? He said, I'll open up the windows of heaven. There's an appointed time for that. And there's a specific space that you need to be in that appointed time in order for you to house this thing and be able to manage and maintain it or to be able to multiply it. All of these things are centered around time. And I don't think that we actually correlate that on a day-to-day basis because each day becomes so mundane. We don't correlate that we have, what is it, 84,000 or 84 million seconds in a day? I think it's 84. I want to say it's
I
84,000
just
or 84
posted
million
that
seconds a day.
yesterday. I think it's seconds.
You said what now?
I said I just posted that last night. I think it's seconds.
Seconds
I
in a
could be
day.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to sleep some of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are going to get in between 5 to 8 hours of sleep, just depending on your schedule and what you do. And then if you have kids, some of that time goes to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't actually factor in self care. We turn self care into buying nice things, not actually focusing on your mind, your mental, and your emotional space. So if you factor that in, you have to have time to actually care for your domain
Mm-hmm.
because yourself is your actual intellectual property. This is it. This is it.
Right.
So if you're not caring for your body, caring for your mind, caring for your emotions, eventually you're going to be forced to. So that's more time. So when you
Mm-hmm.
look at it, the window of time that we have to achieve things continues to get more narrow and more narrow and more narrow. When I talked to my ladies in the 5 a.m. prayer this morning, God was so revelational in a way that he just came out and said, don't find yourself walking around the same mountain doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Come
You
on.
don't have time to do that. You don't have time to do that because what's required in this year, and here's the key thing, and I'll pass it over to Shamika because I know she has plenty of wisdom to give. Here's the key thing that I'm finding. is that when we're circling around a mountain in confusion or in chaos or doing the same thing and expecting a different result, we're moving in ignorance. And once that ignorance is lifted, you don't have time to play with the journey
Mm-hmm.
because technically you're behind in mileage. You're behind in mileage. So you can't play with your time, your investment of time, your seed planted in time. You have to actually nurture the time that you have in order to reap the harvest that allows you to see the benefit of time on the back end, where you're buying back your time. Shamika, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks for dropping the mic. I'll say this. Jess gave us so many things that I need all of us that are thinking about. Those of you who are live with us now, those of you who will come across this at a later date. I think the reason that we chose the topic was to figure out and or present to you ways to manage your time. So Jess said a lot of things, and she said that she's more task oriented than time oriented. But I'll say that one can't get done without the other. And I
Yeah.
say that meaning, at 5 a.m., this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
At 7 p.m., this is what I have to do. I've got
Mm-hmm.
these things to do while son is at school. I have these things that I can't do while he's here, but I've got this time that I have to have with my child. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's something that I've decided to do since I have self retired. When I take Peyton to school in the morning, if it's not absolutely, positively an emergency, do not call me because first of all, she is my middle child. And like I always mention my college girl, I happen to be cognizant with whatever my tasks were that were associated to raising my daughter up and the time that I put in it. Peyton deserves the same thing. And so even if we're quiet in the car, we're quiet together because a lot of us, and I'll just say, I've been in network marketing, direct marketing. I market my own brick and mortar. I have been a professional. I've worked 25 years of my life, so I get it. But I mention all of that to say, Tamira, just because your son, Junior, is in the car, you don't need to be having a conversation with us on how we're going to boss up. See how Junior's day was so that when you're not rushing to ask him because you've got to get on another something and brand something for another somebody, Junior's not just telling you it was okay. And deep down, he's struggling with math or he's struggling with how to approach a bully or he doesn't know how to find his footing in school. So some days, Paige may wake up, she's still sleepy. I may wake up, I'm sleepy. But she and I, we bond over shoes and music. So we are trying to figure out, okay, we've said our prayers. We're going to say our prayers. What are we listening to? And it may be that time that we're listening to gospel music. It may be a time where we're thugging it out, listening to trap music, but we're singing together. And it's something that I remember. I don't want my kids to remember me solely for being that businesswoman who's always attached to a computer and a phone. And sometimes that's what work gives us. And then if I am to follow Jess on the best beauty tips and to follow Tamira on the best brand, then I keep losing who I am because I'm trying to sprinkle Tamira in. I'm trying to sprinkle a little bit of Jess. And I did that today. I showed up in a blouse because Tamira dresses nice. I have lipstick on because Jess is a makeup artist. And not that I want to be like either one of them, but I respect who they are. So I was able to take that little tidbit to do something different with my time, opposed to if you know me, you know I like to put on clothes, but give me a t-shirt any day and a fresh face, and that's who I am. And so it depends on who you want to be in that allotted time that you set for yourself. So even if the time or the task is, girl, you've been looking at 5 baskets for 5 weeks. It's time to wash again. What's wrong with setting that time? And even if you need to listen to your Grant Cardone or your Eric Watson, whoever floats your boat, you can do that while you're folding your clothes. But maybe you don't need to do that while you're having a girlfriend Zoom with your 2 girlfriends. You need to understand exactly who you are. So if we could erase, look at this person and do this and do that and get all of that out of our head and build the avatar of who we want to be and who we want, how we want that time to use. I think that anxiety would diminish. I think that depression would diminish because especially when we put the time frame, and I did it. I can still go back and look at a book that I had my senior year in high school of all of these things that Shamika was going to be by this time, and all of this money I would have by this time. But then when you sit back and you're like, well, what God say? You can't tell me
Come
that
on.
you serve a living God who can open up the windows of heaven and pour out. And this is how matter of fact I am. So trust me, I'm not trying to be anybody other than who I am, and this is me. So I'm talking to myself too. I set this goal of I'm going to retire myself by the time I'm 40. I won't be working in these cubicles. I don't want to have these team meetings with these people. It happened, but it didn't happen at my rate of speed because I was supposed to have this much money put up and this much this. And when God tells you, I'll never leave you or forsake you, if you believe that, if you trust that, if you walk that, then time won't steal you, won't be a robber of anything. You'll have the time that you need to work 12 weeks. You'll have the time that you need to get your son from this daycare to this school and then to be there to offer services to your other son. You'll find out that everything that you need and desire
Mhm.
is right there, but you won't find that looking to the left, looking to the right,
That's
trying to
good.
make your socials look like others, trying to make your time look like others. In the city that I live in, it's small, but people know me and I know people, but they don't know me for being at every event Jess puts on or every event Tamira puts on. They know me for the fruit that I produce. And when
Yeah.
I pull out that time, it's because I don't need to be around just to figure out makeup. I don't know how to do it. Best you gonna get is this lipstick. I'm gonna have to pay Jess her bag to get this makeup done. But if she's saying, and I had to rid myself of guilt with you, I'm like, I can't get up for this girl's 5 o'clock. God bless them and what they do. But I was beating myself up because I'm like, okay, it's gonna be tomorrow. No, it ain't. You're not getting up at 5, and the beat is still gonna go on without you, but you can show up for that 7. So it's just like, in short, when it comes to your time, be real with with yourself and what you can put out into this universe. And if it's to be at the 5 a.m., be there at 4:58. And if it's to be at the 7 o'clock with your daughter, turn this phone off because I mean, what am I checking to see what business plays just want to play? Is that more important than my daughter's tennis match?
Come
Those are the questions
on.
that you have to ask yourself. Is your timing more important than God's timing? Like if it's not, because if it is, you must
Mhm.
not be worshiping Him in spirit and in truth.
That's good.
It is.
And I don't even,
I,
and
Yeah.
I gotta stop apologizing for like preaching, but it comes out because it's like when we sit here and we talk about time management and we talk about the number of seconds in a day, the number of weeks in a year, and all of these things, and you ain't got time to get on the prayer call
Or read the Bible.
because you don't want to hear what may come from that because you'd rather sleep. But if
Mhm.
I told you that I was giving out $5,000 to the first 10 callers to hop on my prayer call, now you have time.
Come on. It- oh, girl.
And it's just so many things. And I have to remember, like, there are those of us who were raised amazing, and our parents made
Mhm.
sure that they were at everything. And then we had the parents who had to work 2 and 3 and 4 jobs to still raise you amazing, because an amazing raising is having something to eat in your refrigerator and the
Right.
light switch turn on. But I didn't want to be the mom or dad who makes the time for my senior night, but couldn't come see me all of the other times. I'm gonna be at every single game that I can and can't be. Now, like tonight, I've got to get my baby girl to dance. She's dancing. I've got a 2 hour window. Guess what I'm doing? I'm cohorting at 7 with Jess and the team, and we're gonna get some work done because I've got that time. Otherwise, I'd be sitting in my car catching up on the Queen of the South. Well, she got her money. I'm only on season 3. Queen on season 6. So I'll catch her when I can. And God bless her. I know that she needs ratings and stuff, but I'm at the time in my life where I don't have any ratings to give. I got to
Oh,
get on
that's
these
good.
entrepreneurs and see what implementations can go on in my business. And I've got to be there with my son as he transitions from, whatever age to whatever age, and the same for my daughters. I can't give it all to social media and work.
Mm-mm.
That's
That's
the
it.
thing with time is, and I know we got to get off, so we got to pass it to our beautiful host Tamara. But that's the thing that I want you to take away from these conversations. Build yourself through what your time and your task look like. Do not build yourself through my time and my task, because I can multitask, but I can't talk to my mama on the phone now while I'm trying to understand the systems to make sure my business run like they need to. Maybe when I'm filing and I know how to file by heart because that's something that I did in this season of preparing for who you gonna be, you ain't got time to talk to your friends all day and night.
You don't.
Still be their friends, but girl, I can't sit up and talk to you all day and night. Don't you got something to do? All right, we got 5 minutes. I'm done.
Oh man, y'all both said a lot. Ooh, Shamika, come on. You dropped the mic so many times. I don't even know what to do over here. You know, it's amazing when you said that basically our timing is not God's timing, right? And the thing we gotta also understand is that we need to make sure we're connecting to people that value time, because if they can't value their time, they'll never value your time. And
Mhm.
so that is so vital and important. But I love how you made sure that you said, listen, you can be that entrepreneur, but be that parent too. Take out the time to do this and take out the time to do that. Because the worst thing you can do in the end is your children say, yeah, you gave me this, you gave me that, but you never made time for me.
And that's
So
their truth.
you just, oh man,
Or when
this
you
was
pass
good.
away or when you're in hospice, listen, we're not trying to be cryptic. We know
Right.
we live and we die. We know that. And we know that we do not control when we were born and we
Absolutely.
don't control when we exit. So
Absolutely.
what you don't you want what's between the dash matters. And specifically if you have people who are leaning on you, whether they're your children, your spouse, your significant other, your tribe.
Mhm.
And if you're building a business as a brand strategist that includes helping Shamika brand and scale and Jessica, I don't want to pay you and you have no time to teach me how to scale my business. Same for a kid. Why did you pray and cry for me? And you ain't got time for me.
Mm.
Yeah. This was
Child.
good. This was good. All right, ladies, if you could just start, we're going to start with Jessica. Go ahead and let them know what you do. And I will be on there tonight. I'm going to be on there
Hey.
tonight, 8 my time. Yes. I tried, Shamika, I tried 5 a.m. one time, and I
You
was
made it.
like, okay, I hope she don't be mad at me. I'm trying, girl. But
Listen, it's been a try for me. And that's the thing. I had to tell them because I had so many women that would come to me and say, oh, please don't be angry. I am not angry in the least. That's
Yeah,
a hard push. And like I tell them, I'm mandated to pray whether you show up or not,
yeah,
but taking you on the journey with me so that you can get this feeling is everything to me. And I
yeah.
have some that are so committed, but let me tell you something. If you enter that room even one time, we are calling your name out in that prayer every single morning. So
yeah.
even though you may not be there, you are not exempt. If you reached out to me and said, hey, I wanted to be a part, and you couldn't make it, you are not exempt because I still call your name out every single morning.
We appreciate that
I
call, girl.
know,
Absolutely.
right? Thank you.
All right,
Absolutely.
y'all. We got
And
two
the prayer
minutes.
was
Let's let the
actually
people
supposed
know.
to end on January 19th. You wouldn't believe that they would not let me stop it.
I kind of
Wow.
They
figured
literally
that.
came, they begged me, like, please don't stop. We need this. This fuels the fire every day. And I'm like, but y'all, my fire. This is turning into what, Amber?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it takes a lot to be present.
Yeah.
Yes. So just to let y'all know, I am Jessica Raquel, makeup artist in Memphis, Tennessee, of 6 years now. I'm proud of my 6 years because we almost didn't make it, but God revived that fire. I'm also an entrepreneur that's building a media relations agency, and I do what I love best. My gift is in communication, and so with that and my love of business, I create opportunities to connect with other business women so that I can serve in different capacities of what I love. So listen, if you're up for it, come and join us on the co-working. It's 1 hour. We're talking about low mellow music and helping each other to be better and actually getting the work done. And all of us need that. Do not become complacent 30 days into the new year. What you do now will set you up for the rest of the year. That's why this space is open until the end of the quarter every Monday.
I love it. I'm gonna do better, Jesus, and I'm gonna get up because I got stuff to be done at 5. But I am Shamika Menacey. I am a serial entrepreneur in that I reside in the construction, the logistics, and the agricultural space. But from a socialpreneur perspective, I am a career and business strategist. And so what that means is that I help you take your resume and or your business plan or non-existent documents from ashy to classy. And so my most notable wins is helping a client go from zero to multi six figures in 6 months, and also helping a career client go for a $43,000 increase in their bag. And so the best way to find me is to look up the name. I'm all over social media and the internet. I also am a interviewer and contributing writer for Kish Magazine, as well as an Amazon best-selling author. That's me.
Awesome. And you all, I am Tamara Bell with Bell's Desire Production, where we bring your vision to reality through brand strategy, business development, and graphic design. You all, this is the hangout. I want you all to heart it up if you're enjoying it. If you are getting on right as we end, go back and watch the replay so you can get all the gems and the nuggets. Make sure you share this broadcast and tag 4 people, because I promise you, they need to know the value of time.